How are you today?
Alive!
Well, welcome to Toronto.
Thank you for having us.
How do you get a film like this made? Because there's so many difficulties in making any film. But I mean, I imagine at least the bright side is making a film like this. There's obviously lots of material, but was it difficult? Was it easy? What was the process like?
Well, I mean, that's more on him. I mean, he had the daunting task of, coming up with the idea, creating it, writing it. I was just the monkey at the circus, so he did a lot of the work. So
it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. A lot of trips to the post office. A lot of putting together these hateful videos that we made.
Yeah. I mean, just anytime you do anything with crowdfunding, it's awfully, overwhelming, and then you want to try to make it unique and special and fun, because nowadays everyone's doing a crowdfunding. I saw recently this gay couple that was crowdfunding their honeymoon. I mean, that's some shit.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, like, because we want to be on a beach. Give us your money. Oh, go fuck yourself. So...
So you got to stand out.
Yeah, you want to make it stand out, and you also want to make it interesting. And there's not a time when I scroll through my news feed. Usually, there's like 3 or 4 crowdfunding a day. Right. So you want to make it unique and interesting gifts. So that was probably the hardest part was making sure people got good prizes or something that was interesting to them. Aside from making the final product.
Right.
Well, and was Bianca different in a movie as opposed to how people might see her otherwise?
Well, what's interesting about this story is that it's an actual story, and it's
Right.
has nothing to do with me in particular, not my Bianca character.
Right.
I think what's happened is some of the qualities of me. It's not basically my story, but it deals with a guy who is, a gay man who's working, who's a school teacher and has, strong passion to teach, and he's transferred to a school in the South in a very small, closed-minded, redneck, Trump-loving town, and in that space, he is then fired for being gay, which is legal in 29 states in the U.S. for you to be fired from your job for being gay, which most people don't realize. I didn't know until he brought it to my attention, and so he gets outed, and he's devastated because all he wants to do is teach these kids, but because of how it happened, there's part of him that would like to continue teaching, and the other part of him wants to get revenge on these dumb motherfuckers. So that's where Bianca comes into play. So it's like the gist of Bianca, but it's not necessarily...
It's in the spirit of Bianca's
in the spirit,
character.
Right.
Yes.
In
the spirit, and I drank lots of spirits to create that character. So it's not really my coming of age story at all, but it is kind of interesting how it lends itself to fight back on, a homophobic society,
Right.
which sadly exists a lot in America.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, from your perspective, how day to day, month to month, how much do you face that?
Oh, I don't anymore. I mean, I don't care. I don't listen to these people. I mean, I've been fortunate enough when maybe a few of those things happened when I was younger. I was faced with the situation of either wallow in it or just go about your life. And the great thing about life is you find that group of people that embrace you, and that's where the theater and the arts come in handy. And then you kind of forget about those other people. So many gay people that I know constantly have this story, which I'm not saying, nothing wrong with having that story. I don't have that story. They're like, oh, I was beaten up, I was abused. Bitch, that's high school. Get the hell over it. Everybody's experiencing it. So I never took it that personal for me, not to discredit anybody's story, because I'm sure somebody's going to complain. But I just mean that I never let that become my identity. It's kind of like, all right, that happened, and you get through it.
But we also kind of grew up in a bubble. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago, and we lived in New York, and
Yeah.
now he lives in L.A. So, we don't see all that, but...
You don't see it, but it's fascinating when it exists. When you hear these stories or you read about something in the paper. I mean, sadly, when you read about something in the paper on the paper, how old am I? But when you see something, in print, you go, oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God, is that real?
Right.
And sadly, this 29 states thing is real, which is insane to think about it.
Well, I hate to bring up the politics, but are you guys scared?
Horrified.
America is starting to be actually even scarier than it seemed to be before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not scared by Trump himself. I'm scared by the people that believe in him, And I mean, not to get too political, because it's not like Hillary's a shining beacon of success either.
Right.
But when you sit back and you look at it, that's what you're faced with. That's the best of the best, and that's what I didn't think they would get that far, but then it does make a lot of sense. You know, you may not have that in Los Angeles, you may not have that in New York, but it's everywhere else.
We had Rob Ford, and there's a lot of similarities between what Rob Ford was and what he is now, Trump.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing, and, you know, they'd say, you know, how could Hitler have 6 million people behind him and get it? And it's like,
he was elected.
Now we can see this.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
History repeats itself.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
Except Hitler had better hair.
Hopefully not.
Hitler had better hair. Much better hair.
So on the brighter side of the movie.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us down.
Yeah, bring it on down. No, but I mean, once you guys were making it, I mean, was it fun day to day? Was it, you know,
It was a
obviously
blast.
work,
It was
but
so much work, but it was so much fun.
it seems like it must have been a great
It really
experience.
was.
Well,
It
it's
was
like
just-
good fun.
Yeah. It was like a mind fuck because it's so much work and you have so much to get through. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't believe we just did all that today in one day. You know, it's all out of order. It's all like, you know, we were in the woods, we were at the school, we were, you know, over here, we were, you know, in a football field, and it was a lot.
But rarely nowadays, when can you do something that's rewarding? You know, so we're so busy working to pay our bills, especially you know, when you live in New York. You know, you have your life to work, and then you have your passion, and you don't really get to do it. So it's a nice mix of getting to do what you love and being surrounded by really good creative people to make it happen. I mean, that's a rarity. Because usually you're surrounded by assholes, you know.
And I mean, for you taking time off from, I mean, you're doing Broadway, you're doing your tours, you've got a new tour coming up this fall.
Yeah.
For you, what's this experience like doing a film as opposed to all the other things you're involved in?
Well, I didn't do Broadway yet, but
Well, you did costumes
yeah, we did
for
costume
Broadway,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Broadway Bears.
that kind of dwindled out. You know, as far as working on a day-to-day basis when I started traveling a lot. But you know, it's one of those things. Here was something that we'd been working on prior to my hectic schedule, so we knew we had to make it happen, and so he condensed it for me to film all of my stuff within 18 days. And it wasn't like, oh, stressful me. I mean, you know, with what we're working with this type of film, we didn't have, you know, a luxury of doing a month shoot. You know, things had to be condensed. But that's usually how I work best, you know, in stressful situations with no options and no time. So that works well.
Would you go back and would you do more films?
I would love to. I would love to, you know, if it's right, you know, and I don't mean
course,
that, I mean, I don't want to sound like Meryl, like I'm turning down several of them. But I think that, you know, if it seems like it would make sense to me to do, I mean, like, I'm not some chameleon of sorts to play 20 different characters, but if it's something that's funny and something that I believe in, of course I would do it in a heartbeat.
And then for you, in terms of direction, what were you directing here? What was your input? What were you trying to get across in different scenes?
Oh God! I mean, we were just trying to tell the story and just keep it as fun and light as possible. You know, I mean, it's a serious topic, but
Of course.
we don't take it too seriously. We just, you know, had fun with it. So it was, you know, it was a dream. You know, we had all of my favorite people there.
Yeah, it's a
know.
great cast, you know, with Rachel Dratch, who's amazing from Saturday Night Live, was wonderful to work with, and Alan Cumming and Margaret Cho and RuPaul. Also, there's some Drag Race alumni, some of the queens that were on the show as well. There's Shangela, there's Willem, and there's Alyssa Edwards.
Wow,
So it was a lot of fun.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, you know, playing big time with your friends. So
Yeah.
it was good. But they're not really my friends, but I told them that so they'd do the movie at a lower rate. And craft service. Only on Thursdays.
In terms of touring, what do you ever get tired because you do a lot of touring?
No.
Or it's always an adventure.
I mean, when everybody says that, they're like, "Oh, you must be exhausted." I'm not flying the fucking plane, for Christ's sake. I mean, I'm just going to my gig and doing it. I mean, you do sacrifice having a normal life, and like today, I sound like a man because I haven't slept in a while. But it's you know, it's amazing, and even if you're having a shitty day, you get to go out there to an audience of 1,200 people that paid a ticket to see your ass. You know, I mean, how humbling is that? I mean, there's been years I was doing drag bingo at 4:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday. You want to talk about hell? So I'm very appreciative about what I get to do now. So I really can't complain. If I complained, I'd totally sound like an asshole. So no complaints here.
And I mean, I'm sure I even hate to ask the question, but I'm just curious. For you, where do you end? Where does Bianca begin? Do you have a?
Oh, it's the same thing.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the same thing. I mean, you know, there's people that have to get into character.
Well, that's what I wondered,
that's
'cause it's
bullshit.
yeah.
No. It's kind of like Melissa McCarthy. You go see a movie, it's the same shit she's doing, but it's working, so keep it going. I ain't blaming her. You keep it up, girl. But it's one of those things. It's, you know, I've had 20 years of doing drag, and so it's just kind of like been this full cycle. You know, you just roll with it, and you know when. I mean, of course, it's heightened when you're in drag and when you're performing, but it's kind of fascinating to see how accepting it's become now. You know, mainstream wise, and the people that are interested in what you're doing. That's surreal.
Do you have a most rewarding moment that's come so far? Something that you've stepped up and done something that was just like, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, sitting here with you. I'm lying. Well, I mean, there's been so many. I mean, you know, as of today, you know, getting to win Drag Race, getting to be interviewed by Joan Rivers was amazing. And then tomorrow I'm going to say this, you know, it's like all of this kind of stuff kind of happening. That's kind of insane. And it's less about me as far as saying, you know, I'm just glad that these opportunities that he's created for me and that I've been able to work with him and then make everybody's dream come true, which is kind of fun, you know? That's the best part about it, is that just having the exposure and the platform to get to create things with other people that want to create stuff as well. It's kind of amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great.
Well,
really gay and really sweet just now, so we got to end on something cunty. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal.
Well, congratulations too on the distribution.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I just heard that this morning.
Yeah.
Yes, we're quite excited.
You must be excited.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Are you guys going to show up at some of the screenings? Is that an option?
Well,
Oh, I hope so.
well, yeah, we got to.
Yeah.
Undercover, put on my little disguise and see what
Undercover
they have
celebrity.
to say.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here at Inside Out. So
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. We're really happy to be here. Yeah.
Thank you.